For this video, you find me with the 2022 Volvo XC60 Inscription B6 with all-wheel drive. This is finished in the Silver Dawn paint with the maroon brown interior, and it comes equipped with the Climate and Advanced packages, the Bowers & Wilkins Premium Sound Upgrade, and integrated booster seat. So this can all be yours at roughly $64,000 after destination. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson, and for this video, I want to give you my review of this Volvo XC60, share with you my likes and dislikes so that you have a better idea before you buy. And if you learn anything new while watching this or have any feedback, comment it down below. Or if you like the video, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and especially that notification bell button, because your views, your comments, and your feedback will keep this channel going and going. Now, the first thing I like about this XC60 is the interior. This is one of the best interiors you can find in a car of this price point. There's a lot of great things about it, like how the layout just makes sense, how the materials just feel so good in the hands, or simply how beautiful it looks. But what it really feels to me is calming. You sit in here and you feel relaxed. It's like walking into a really nice room with high quality furniture, and the first thing you want to do is sit down and read a book. It's a very inviting atmosphere. It also helps that this XC60 has a wonderful pair of front seats. It's a very comfortable seat with plenty of adjustability, heat and ventilation features. The ergonomics also feel great. This gear shifter, which is made of crystal and only available on their Inscription line of cars, sits in your hand just right. The minimalist design is another great aspect that I love about this Volvo. For example, I love how the controls for these vents are integrated into a single knob. The steering wheel is also very simplified. The right buttons serve as controls for your music, but it can also serve as buttons for the menus in this beautiful fully digital instrument cluster. Which brings me to my favorite part about this car, the built-in Google interface. If you use a lot of Google services and the Google Assistant, you're going to be in love with this car. If you hate using Google and don't like the idea of being more intimate with a giant tech company, then maybe not. To fully appreciate the Google collaboration with Volvo, you have to take a look at Volvo's infotainment system from several years ago. It was slow to boot up and sometimes not very responsive, and the graphical user interface was a bit cluttered. Even though the Volvo car was such a beautiful piece of machinery, the infotainment system certainly didn't live up to that standard. Over the years, the system did get better, but it still felt like a piece of software that was developed by a car company. But now that is different because this infotainment system has been built by a tech company. And this partnership between Volvo and Google is the very first of its kind. And the experience is so much better and more intuitive than ever before. This is built on the Android architecture, so it works really well with Google Apps and the built-in services. So Google Play Store, Google Assistant, and of course Google Maps works really well. I love being able to just pinch to zoom on the map and it just works. I also love how easy it is to find directions on this thing. Okay, Google, take me to Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. All right.
Now try that with a native infotainment system, and I'm pretty sure it's going to take a couple of tries. The experience for me so far has been awesome, and it now matches the feel and quality of the rest of this Volvo. It feels polished. And I like how there's over-the-air updates, so this experience can be continually improved and refined. Volvo even mentioned that there's going to be an update that includes YouTube on this screen. Now, you can't watch YouTube while you're driving, obviously, because that's a big safety risk, but this Google built-in system can also be found in a lot of their other recharge systems like the C40, the XC40 Recharge, and the XC60 Recharge. So some of those electrified vehicles, when you're plugging in into a charging station, you could watch YouTube while you're parked. So having Google built into the vehicle is pretty great, but there's some drawbacks to that. And this is where the XC60 may not be all that great, at least for now at this time of filming. The first one is that there doesn't seem to be satellite radio in this thing, and that's not really a big deal for me because I don't use it that much, and I'm already paying for music subscription through other things, but I know that there are channels exclusive to satellite radio, and if you like to listen to those things, you won't be able to get it here. But the good news is that on the way down here to film this review for you, I actually found an over-the-air update for this car to version 1.7 that will include SiriusXM as an app. So that may not be an issue at all because of the OTA updates, but there's another bigger issue here. Even though this is built on the Android architecture and it works with Android phones really well, this doesn't have Android Auto, and it also doesn't have Apple CarPlay. Now, for a car that's sold in 2022, and not have that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay integration seems like a big step backwards. I understand that this has Google built into the system, so it kind of works differently, but taking that choice away for people with Apple iPhones seems like a poor choice. But again, that might just be an OTA update away. But so far, as of end of January of 2022, we haven't seen any updates for Apple CarPlay to be turned on just yet. Now, you're watching this in the future, so if you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto installed in these cars, please comment down below. When did you get it? But so far, my time with this Volvo and this Google built-in feature has been pretty nice. But I'm aware that working with software sometimes isn't the greatest because there may be bugs that are still hidden in the system. So if you have one of these 2022 Volvo XC60s or one of the other Volvo cars with this Google built-in system, please let us know some of the issues that you've run into in the comments below. Now, infotainment aside, there's other features that I like about this Volvo XC60, and the next one is it's also related to your phone, and that's the wireless charger. Now, I've driven lots of other cars with wireless chargers in them, and almost all of them are crap. But this one is different because this one works really well. Other cars' wireless chargers don't normally charge very reliably or consistently, and if you have a case on your phone, it most likely will worsen the situation. But in this case, there's a couple of things I like about this. First, the surface is rubbery, so it provides a good amount of friction for your phone so it can stay put, and also it works really well even when you have a case. And I also like this sliding door design which hides your cup holders, but this can also function as a method to secure your phone on this charging pad. Next, I like the switch gear in here. The crystal gear shifter is probably the most expensive piece of decoration in here, but it fits with the style of the car and not at all tacky or attention grabbing. The knurling on the start button and the volume dial also feels very good in the hands. And then you also have the small details like the smooth clicking and unclicking of the turn stalks. The detents on that are so buttery smooth. And I also like how the interior lighting have a luxurious gradual glow to them, as well as the touch sensitive controls on the panoramic sunroof. It's the small attention to detail that really make a big difference, and you can tell that Volvo spent a great amount of time working on these small details. As for space, the XC60 fits that midsize SUV build pretty well. There's a decent amount of rear legroom at 38 inches, and the rear cargo area is also pretty good at 37.8 cubic feet, and with the second row folded down, that grows to 63.3 cubic feet. There's also some nice details with the second row as well. I like how if the second row is not fully latched in the upright position, you have these little warning flags that say, hey, you should probably secure this a little bit better. And in this model, I also like how there's an integrated booster seat in here for the little kids. As for driving, the XC60 inscription in B6 all-wheel drive trim is smooth. This has a 2-liter turbo and supercharged engine producing 308 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. That's a decent chunk of power and shuttles this 4,200-pound beast around pretty well. Ride quality is very nice, and it's something you can totally expect out of a $60,000 vehicle. This has an air suspension system that gives a pretty luxurious ride feel, and I love how you can raise or lower the entire car. There's even an off-road mode, and that will give this car more ground clearance, lighten the steering wheel, and also give you better all-wheel drive performance. But just note that off-road mode is only limited up to 25 miles per hour. Handling-wise, the XC60 feels just fine for this class of SUV. It has that mid-size SUV clumsy feel to it. There's more performance-oriented mid-size SUVs out there that will be more fun to drive in the twisties, so if that's what you're looking for, then you could probably skip this one. But if this SUV is going to be your do-it-all daily driver, then this is perfect for you. There's also a lot of safety systems and also driver assistance tools built into here. The pilot assist system is great. It's a one-button push that will turn on your adaptive cruise control and also your pretty advanced lane keeping system. So this can actually steer itself for you if all the conditions are right. And there's also blind spot monitoring system and cross traffic alert. Those are critical safety systems to have. As for mileage, this is rated at 21 city, 27 highway, and 24 combined. That's not really bad for a gasoline engine car with a turbo and a supercharger in it. But if you look at the market as a whole, considering how there's so many hybrids and electrified vehicles out there, then those figures start to look pretty low. So overall, would I recommend this Volvo XC60? Ignoring that Google built-in interface, this XC60 is a really wonderful mid-sized SUV. It didn't take me a very long time to fall in love with it. The interior is very lovely. It is so comforting. And on top of that, the sound system is spectacular. If you're a big Android user and love that Google ecosystem, then this is an easy recommendation. Having Google built into this car greatly improved the infotainment experience, and the car now feels more polished. If you're an Apple user and you need that Apple CarPlay experience, then I would wait until Volvo updates the system to include those things. This Volvo and Google collaboration is still in its early stages, so there's some teething issues that's bound to happen. So if you don't consider yourself the early adopter type, then I would just wait maybe another year or maybe a couple more model years before you jump into one of these things. Well, there you have it. That's my review of the 2022 Volvo XC60 Inscription B6 with all-wheel drive with Google built in. Let me know what you think. And also, if you own one of these cars, let us know of any of the issues that you've run into with the car in general or with the infotainment system. I'm going to wrap it up right there. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. If you learned something, hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell so that you can be notified anytime we make a new video. I want to thank you so much for watching. My name is Hanson. This has been the 2022 Volvo XC60, and I'll see you next time.